Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and so glad that we could meet up here today on New Life Live. And I would love to have you call us, 1-800-229-3000. Pretty simple number. You can watch us on Facebook Live. You can hear us on our app, on the website, newlife.com. And you can also see Facebook Live on newlife.com. And we just love to be with you. Love for you to see what we're doing here. And when I talk about us, I'm talking about me and my co-host, Chris Williams. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's good being with you today.
It is, and you know, I like doing this right before 4th of July with you because we're celebrating the freedom of our country. But a lot of people, for a lot of reasons, they are stuck. They are in bondage. They don't know what to do to get free, and we're going to help them with our webinar. Online, it's kind of more than a webinar. We've got therapists with it, but we're going to do that again. Pretty excited about that.
I'm really excited about it because, you know, oftentimes the biggest oppression that we experience is our own pain, our own fear, our own struggles. And I'm actually amazed at how long in our lives that we can go on and functioning with the amount of things that we carry on inside of us. But what I get really excited about is that we're able to identify specifically what are those things that are holding us back, what are those things that are pushing down on us and oppressing us, and then how do we engage in a process to allow God to move into those places, to let it go, to release us and move us into much greater ways of living and creating and connecting and all the good things that God has for us.
I agree. And, you know, I hear people say things like, I can control my drinking. Well, why would you? I mean, is that how your life is going to go?
Yes.
Controlling your drinking. Once you say, I think I'm done with that, then you don't have to control it. Whenever we can admit we have an extreme limitation, life can really begin. And so maybe there's some area that you're extremely limited in. I know this. We're going to do Every Man's Battle, and that's the next one coming up. The date on that is right here. It is July the 18th. And then Intimacy in Marriage. I love that one because we're saving marriages like crazy. That's July 25th. Lose It for Life, bringing it back. A lot of people have asked for it. It is that weight loss plan that keeps it off. And what good is it to lose it and gain it back? And then Finding Freedom's August the 8th. We would love for you to join us for one of those. But right now, 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Cliff. 1-800-229-3000. If you'd like to join us. Well, it doesn't look like I can go to... There we go. And Cliff, how you doing today? What's going on in your life?
Oh, I'm doing very well, Steve. Thank you very much. With all the publicity about defunding police department, bad cops, etc., I've come to the conclusion it would be a good idea for at least major city police departments to have regular psychological evaluations of their police officers and also to make counseling available to the police officers because I consider that there's a war on police in many major cities, and also to the police families. Well, I'm not the expert. You're the expert, so I want to hear from you and your guests.
All right. I will give you a thought about that. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. Chris Williams, Steve Arterburn here. 1-800-229-3000. These are tough times. This is the beginning of a brand new month. What do you want to have accomplished by the end of this month? Any kind of growth? Any kind of change? Maybe this is the month where a whole new life could start for you. Or maybe it's the month where a pretty good life gets better. We'll help you at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll be back after this.
On Friday night, we got into an argument, and I stayed in the car outside for 2 hours. I knew what the right thing to do was to go.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, July 25th.
I know this stuff. I hear it, I read it, and I'm always getting in my own way. I'm always expecting my wife to go first.
Join Steve Arterburn
We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
and Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group leaders will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
My biggest takeaway was to just get out of my way and go first.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and if you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000. Cliff's on the phone, and he's asked a question about counseling and the testing that might help with the police officer situation. I'm going to let Chris talk to you more about that. But here's what I think is the challenge for all of us. I probably get in trouble for what I say, but this is what's in my heart. Policeman, non-policeman, just every person needs to look inside. Jesus was he was so specific with these Pharisees. Hey, what are you doing? You are literally working on the outside of the cup. And inside the cup is where you need to be working. So we need to do an inside job. Now I want to tell you something that's kind of strange. If you continue to read Scripture in that passage, if you go deeper, these Pharisees claimed that they were good. And they weren't the ones that had killed prophets in the old days. And Jesus said to them, you are still killing prophets today. Your people. You're killing Jewish prophets because they don't agree with you. And you're trying to kill folks who are trying to find the way. And he says that if you're still killing the prophets today, you are responsible for every kill that's ever happened, every death, all the way back to Adam. How about that? I mean, it's really an amazing passage of Scripture. So here's what I'm responsible for. I'm responsible to quit doing all this stuff on the outside to look good. There are a lot of churches when in the midst of all this stuff, you could see, I talked to some of my black male friends, and they said it. You can see this church here or that church there. They're doing a really good job of acting like they don't have a problem. Well, rather than do that, what if we just said, okay, I'm not a racist, but given all that's gone on in our country, what layers do I need to be looking at within my heart? Do I have some bias? Is there any level of bigotry? Am I unfair? Do I view people differently at all? That's what we really need to be doing. And I'd say this, look inside your heart and ask what is the key word you use to stop dealing with the issue. Like, well, look at all that rioting. I mean, that's not what this is all about. Okay, yes, you're right. What in the world could lead to that kind of rioting? Where does that come from? That doesn't excuse the rioting and vandalism and shutting down stores, burning things. No, it doesn't. But why don't we try to understand it, and then maybe we can develop some solutions together because we have a mutual understanding. That's what I would like to see. And you know what? I've thought about this issue for a long time, but I've never thought about it so deeply as now. And I think there are a lot of other people like me that have never thought about it so deeply. And if you go to Germany, you don't see the statues that are honoring the generals that fought for Hitler. Well, I can see how a statue of somebody sitting in the middle of town would be offensive to somebody, knowing that that man is being honored and that man fought against the United States of America so that slavery could stay in place. I get that. I've never really thought about it before. And never before have I thought so much that those statues, they shouldn't be destroyed. They should be kept, and they should be viewed by as many people as possible on some big piece of farmland that becomes a museum, so we never forget that some really good people back there in the days of the Confederacy, some really good people got it wrong. And that, I just find that to be something that's consistent throughout history. And so I'm just telling you, it's time to not be angry at somebody. It's time to not criticize other people. Just do one thing. Stay on your side of the street, look inside your cup, clean that up. It would be so much easier to be critical of me for saying this because I didn't say it right or whatever. I don't agree with you. It'd be easier to be angry at me or criticize me than I'm going to go a little deeper inside this heart, because I've been saying for years I'm not a racist, and now I'm going to just let that go, and I'm going to ask the question, what kind of work do I need to do? Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Steve, you actually bring up something that came to me deeply in my prayer time this morning, and that is when we go after the wrong enemy, we're always in the wrong fight, and we will always lose. And here's where it came to me. The enemy is always the same, and it's sin within me. It's sin inside of me. That's the enemy, and that's really the only enemy I can do anything about today. And so as you're saying that, Steve, it is a time for deep self-reflection. It is a time to listen to others, to hear others' stories, to, as you were saying, Steve, the work that I haven't done. You know, launching a podcast with a colleague friend of mine who is a phenomenal female black therapist, and we're calling it Silence is Canceled. So we're going to talk about the things that we don't typically talk about so we can find the right solutions. We can identify the right enemy and find the right solutions. But when it does come down to policing and when it comes down to these other issues, I want to be careful because I don't want to be outside of my expertise here. But as a person who studies the brain, studies it under stress and under trauma, we as human beings are only capable of handling so much threat in our lives before we react negatively. And I just say that out there because I believe for those who are facing dangers or threats or who walk into situations, one, it's to help support them and to help them get the psychological, the mental, emotional, and relational help that they need. I totally believe in that and totally believe that would help the cause. Steve was mentioning at the break that really think that policing is really, hopefully, and I really do believe that taking a new look at itself and trying to discover better ways. And I think that's where I'm like, yeah, we just got to find better ways to do this, to live out the mantra of serve and protect.
Well, I don't have any ability to influence folks. I just will do whatever I can. But I'm hoping that we don't miss an opportunity to come clean, to look within ourselves. That's all I'm challenging people to do. Go inside, ask yourself, what is it that I'm neglecting? What is it that I'm looking too much at? What is it in me, the attitude, the slight, whatever? And let's confess it, and let's make an attempt to understand someone that doesn't agree with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this. Any judgment of a person based on skin color, if you do that, if you don't give a person the benefit of the doubt, that's where you go to work and try to do your best And I hope that every organization, not just law enforcement, is really taking what has happened here and doing the best they can from the inside out. All right, let's thank you, Cliff, for that call, and I'll probably get emails and be in trouble for something I said, but my heart is in the right place, I think. I really hope so, and you'll let me know if it isn't. Let's go to Mary from, I believe, Alma, Michigan, WLCM. How are you?
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here.
Fine. Can you
How
hear
could
me?
we help you today, Mary? What's going on?
I was just calling because it seems like I've been stuck in this for years. I just don't seem to get over it. I was raised with a mother that was so abusive. She was just screaming and hollering at everybody all the time. I'm 85 years old, and I still have never recovered from this.
That right?
She would say the most hurtful things, and I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I'm not exaggerating. She would be screaming every day, all the time, as long as somebody was in the house to hear her, dad or me or my brothers. She was screaming all the time, hollering and yelling.
Mary?
And we would go to sleep.
Mary?
Yeah?
Did you ever ask her, or did she ever tell you anything about her mom and dad and how she was raised?
Well, she talked like they were okay.
And do you think that that's true?
Well, I think that she probably was molested by her father or grandfather or someone because she had symptoms of it.
Yeah.
I suspect that she
didn't trust men at all.
Yeah. I suspect she was subjected to some kind of abuse, somebody that is screaming all the time, perhaps someplace in her past, like you say, maybe sexual abuse. They were not heard. Their cries were not heard, and so they're being heard now. But what's your question for us? How can we help you? So sorry you've had to go through all this.
I was wondering how not to keep thinking about it every day. Every day it seems like it comes into my mind, and I'm still angry at her, and it seems like I'm stuck in that all the time. And
okay. Well, let me just help you here a little bit. Is there any?
She was so evil.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
she was
is
such
there?
An evil person, very, very evil. She would actually, after I got married, she would actually run around to all of my neighbors, wherever I lived, or my friends, and run me down, saying all kinds of bad things about me that weren't true.
Okay.
And
well, Mary, I'm
believed
going to
her
interrupt you
except my
here
friends.
because Mary, I'm going to interrupt you because I want to help you, and I bet you've got a lot of stories of how abusive and ridiculous it was. Does she have any living brothers or sisters? Anybody that in her family?
Yeah, she had brothers and sisters both. It was about 7 kids, 6 or 7 kids.
Are they alive? One of a brother or sister?
None of them.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to see if anybody knew that family, like her brothers or sisters. I think the first step of healing sometimes and getting the obsession out of your mind is trying to find out or even just believe that the reality of her childhood must have been horrible for it to result in this. So when we start to look at, everything has a reason, a source, if we were to focus on, I bet it was horrible, I bet she was sexually abused, now I can have some compassion for that little girl that grew up to do these evil things and screaming all the time. And that might lead you then to accept her as a really broken person, forgive her, and oh boy, did she ever not come through for you so that you could be free. Chris, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I have something I want you to try to do, Mary, but I also, before I suggest it, I want to suggest that you get into support. There is someone who understands abuse and trauma that can support you through a process to begin to heal and let go. But as you do that, what I want you to do is I want you to start by trying, if you can, to write a letter to your mom. And I want you to start off, and it's going to have a few parts to it. The first part is this. I want you to thank her for what she was able to do. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but just go with me on it. The second part is I want you to write to her what she did to you and how it impacted you. And then the last part of it is how you're going to let her go and give her into God's hand as a form of forgiveness.
Well, I hope that that's helpful to you, Mary. It's really the best that we can do. I'm going to send you 2 books, Healing is a Choice and Take Your Life Back. And I think if you could somehow read those, I think you would find tremendous hope there. All of us probably have these areas that we don't want to deal with, and they're tough. We have to grieve the loss of what wasn't there, embrace the reality of what is, and then move on and get our life back. We'll be back after this, 1-800-229-3000.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, July 18th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. I mean, how can you argue with going inside and working on your own heart, cleaning out the cup? How can you argue with that? Well, I'm probably going to find out. Hey, when you want to go. Yeah, what, Chris?
Well, listen. If Mary is willing to do it at 85,
there you go.
Can't the rest of us do it? She's showing us an example of like it's never too late, and it's also and there's other people where it's never too early. Again, the things that are warring against us on the inside, we're going to act that out on the outside. So the best way to go is go inside first.
Absolutely. So, if you want to go inside, you need some help. Send me a gift, any amount, I'll send you. Growth has no boundaries. John Townsend, Henry Cloud. This is based on their book, How People Grow. And it's the Christian secret to a deeper spiritual life. Just full of scripture, really could be the foundation for Christian counseling. I'll send it to you. It is a great growth plan. You know them. We love them. They love us. At least they did yesterday. So it's all about the processes that make us grow, processes that fit into a biblical understanding and spiritual growth, and spiritual growth and real life issues being the same thing, and the responsibility that people have for their own growth. So gift of any amount, I will send that to you, and I would love to do that. You just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You want to be on the radio, you can call 888-229-3000. We're talking with John from Boise, Idaho. John, glad you called. What's going on in your life today?
How you doing today? I have had this struggle with pornography for years, and I can get to a point where I give it up, but it's such a strong addiction that I just can never seem to, get over it. And I'm just looking for some advice on help or something I can read or meetings or something to help me battle this. It's such a solitary addiction. It's something you hide from everyone, and it's
sure.
Yeah.
Have you listened to our program very long? Are you familiar with it much?
I just started listening about 4 days ago.
Awesome. Well, I think that might be God's drawing you back to Himself, because I wrote the book with Fred Stoker, Every Man's Battle, and I'm going to send you a copy of it. We updated it, 25th anniversary, new brain science, all this stuff is in it. I'm going to send that, but the thing that I would recommend to anybody struggling in any way with pornography or lust affairs is you go to Every Man's Battle. It's the workshop that we do. And before this virus, you would have to get in a car or on a plane and travel and spend 2 nights, but you can do it online. And so when we get off, hold on, let's see if we can help you get to that workshop, because that is the best answer. If you could have done it by now, you've proven you would have done it if you could have. It's wonderful that you're calling for help, because it's admitting that here's an area I have an extreme limitation. It's not getting better. Chris, what are your thoughts here? You really specialize in this area.
Yeah, John, I just want to commend your courage and your honesty. What you may not be aware of, but that you're doing right now, is taking great leadership. There's other guys that are listening that are struggling. There could be other women as well that are struggling, that don't know what to do and are terrified of admitting it. And here you are saying, I have this problem. I want to do something about it. So we want to put in place the things that haven't been there before. And so when we try on our own, when praying it away, when trying to read Scripture away doesn't work, then we take it to the new level. So a few things, like Steve said. So what I want you to be able to do, and do it today, is sign up for Every Man's Battle on July 18th. The reason why I want you to take action steps is because it builds a hopefulness and a motivation. So as you sign up for that today, and there's going to be some after work, and this is a long, long journey, as you know, of getting in a sustained victory group, which is going to be a support group. And then, obviously, you're going to get the book, Every Man's Battle. And also, as July 18th is still a couple weeks out, I want you to look in your area for some 12-step support groups. Now, again, as many things as we can put in place to support us and to move us along in the process is critically important. And I do this as a warning sign. It's important that we gain greater insight and understanding into ourselves and the addiction. But I'll also say this: insight is cheap. Action is priceless. So the actions that you take in moving towards getting relational support and accountability and progress are really going to be your way forward into freedom.
All right, I'm really glad you called, and I want you to hold on. You've made a first bold move here, and so we're going to try to just move you right on down that path to where you're at peace with yourself. Jeremiah 6:16 says, "Stop at the crossroads, look around, search for the old godly way. Walk in its path, and you will find peace for your heart." Nothing new that's going to help you. It's God's path. It's been around a long time, and we'll help you get on that path. What a great thing that He's done what so many others have done. Thousands of men have done. I can't fix this on my own, and you get some help. And then the world just opens up. So many people, everything's going great except this area. Get that taken care of. You will not believe how much peace you'll have.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad that you're with us here today. I'll be doing Facebook Live today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going through the 12 steps in divorce recovery. There's a workbook for it. There's a workbook, life recovery workbook, also for sexual integrity. Boy, what a great thing that is. And I'm going to send that in a life recovery Bible right out there, and I hope that it's going to help. But we really do want to help you if you're struggling with sexual integrity. Let's go to Miss Young here. She's calling from Philadelphia, WFIL. How are you today, Miss Young?
I am good. How are you? I'm calling you because I turned on WFIL today. I haven't listened to them for a while, but I was listening to you, and I just wanted to encourage you, the words you said about, what's going on in the world and different how we should look inside ourselves. And you kind of mentioned that you were going to get some feedback, but I just want to encourage you. We are going to stand before the judgment seat of Christ, and he's going to judge us for every word that comes out of our mouth. So he wants us just to speak the truth in love. And we cannot worry about what people think, because the comments you made about looking inside yourself, we all have to look inside ourselves. And I was just so impressed with your honesty. And you're speaking the word of God in truth and in love. And hopefully people will learn and get saved and their lives will change, because there's a lot that goes on in this world. And but God is the final say of everything, and things are changing for a reason. Yep. And it's good and evil in everybody. Mm-hmm. There's no color to good and evil.
Yeah.
So I was very impressed about what you said. And as far as the Facebook and the feedback and all of that, I don't even listen to Facebook. I don't get into that. But you speak the truth, what God says, and He will be pleased with that. I'm just so encouraged in what you said, because a lot of people, they don't really tell the truth.
Well,
and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate the encouragement. I'm going to send you a Restoration Bible. I think that Miss Young is she said that she respected. I think she's the first listener that's called to say they respected me. So I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm so grateful that she's encouraging, because really it is what we need. All of us need to do. We can't do a lot, but we can do that. And everybody doing that, well, guess what? That is a lot. Let's go to Mike from Los Angeles, California. And Mike listens on Sirius XM.
Hello, sir.
Hi. How can we help today, Mike?
Hey, you guys. I struggle with a lot of guilt and shame from my past. my wife, she almost on a daily basis is angry with me about things I did before I even met her. We're both divorced twice. We have a kid now, child now together, and I've gone to counseling. I confess my sins before me. I'm a Catholic. I'm a struggling Catholic, as much as I try. But things I've done where I've lost, like my virginity when I was 12. I've had twice as many partners as she has, and she throws it at me. We went to a marriage counselor, told us that we have to confess all our partners as sexual past to each other. And our relationship has been downhill after that, and and now we hardly ever are together, if you know what I mean. So I'm now down to reading romance novels, wishing and longing for that type of life, and I'm really struggling with how do I deal with this guilt and shame, which I thought I had dealt with it before in counseling. So you're going to confession, repenting, but now it seems like it's worse than ever.
Okay. We can help you with this, and I'm so glad that you called. I'll let Chris get started with you, and then I've got some things I want to share with you. So, Chris, what do you say to Mike, all these issues from the past?
Yeah, so Mike, I suspect that your wife is carrying a lot of pain and a lot of fear and a lot of maybe even her own shame from her own past, and maybe not just the things that she's done, but more likely the things that are done unto her. We carry our histories into our relationship, and the things that remain unhealed really bleed out in these really damaging relational patterns. So it sounds, and if I got this right, Mike, is that her anger and her pain trigger your guilt and shame. Would that be accurate?
I'm not sure. Her thing is religious, and also saying that I'm not a real Christian because I don't acknowledge that I'm a sinner. She wants me to say that I'm a whore all the time to her and to when I'm into God.
Okay, so
that's what she wants me to acknowledge. I'm not sure about her religious pain. Her spiritual pain doesn't bother me as much because I feel like we can work through that together. But I don't know how to help her work through it if I'm torn down now.
Yes, and Mike, that's my point. Is you're adopting her pain. Is you're taking it on.
Oh.
And so
like an emotional sponge.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so you're spinning out, you're taking on her pain and spinning out on yourself. And so there is again, great things that we can do. These are patterns, unfortunately, that are common. But as we've been talking about in this show, it requires each person to look at themselves as well as it requires work on the relationship. And you guys are stuck in what we call around here core pattern. And that is where I would really highly recommend you guys pick up the book, How We Love, and get into couples counseling that addresses it from the relationship from an attachment, meaning how we connect, and also a historical trauma level.
You know, I think this is a classic example, Mike, of you aren't relating to her, you're relating to the story you have about her, and she's certainly relating to the story in her head about you. And both of you are going to have to let the past go. Now, when we see Scripture say that Jesus died on the cross for our sins so that we could literally wipe the slate clean, that's not figurative. And that's not dependent on our behavior. We just have to trust that that's the gift for us. The reason that a person would feel guilt or shame, either they haven't accepted Christ's forgiveness or they're still involved in something that's producing that guilt and shame. So I would just encourage both of you to find help together. We've got our intensive workshop. It would change things for you. But look, what happened before you married her and what happened to her before she married you, it doesn't pertain to you. And to go back and try to kind of inflict guilt and shame on somebody about the past, it destroys a person. Yeah. Here's the thing that I hear. We talk about people calling out the man and also nurturing the little boy. Mm-hmm. Rather than her nurture the little boy in you, who probably was hurt or neglected or whatever that would lead you to such horrific things that you're saying are there, rather than have compassion for that little guy back there and then understand how that's manifested itself today, and then call you out as a man to do the responsible thing, to be the hero in your very own life and in everyone's life. See, that's how we win here. But what she's doing is nothing but destructive, and the sooner that she decides not to do that anymore, the better things are going to get. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'll send you How We Love. I hope that you would like it so much you'd want to go to that workshop, How We Love, because it really could literally change everything for both of you, and that's available to anybody who wants it. 1-800-229-3000. That's the phone number to call if you want to be with us. Larry, we want to talk to folks about the support needs that we have here at New Life.
We do, and I'm going to touch upon Club New Life in a minute. But first, I want to read, we got a testimony. It's 2 pages long in the mail. And I love this because it wasn't on a form from a workshop. And it wasn't an immediate day after a workshop. This is 4 years later. I called, he shares his story of how he tried to be sober on his own, and then it didn't work, and he fell back into porn. So he says, I called New Life and registered for the May Every Man's Battle. Since that, this was back in 2016. Since that time, I've built months and months and months of continuous sobriety, real sobriety this time. And with time, counseling, and almost 4 years as a regular Sustained Victory member, my marriage has become what we both envisioned in 1992 when we got married. We've regularly contributed to New Life, but I've never written testimony like this. So this was the beauty of...
Oh, it's awesome.
4 years, and his life is different. So we need your support. An individual gift would be great. It'll be matched. Joining Club New Life would be another way. We could really use your support. Club New Life has carried us through this crisis.
It really has. And I'll just say this, a gift of any amount, and we'll send you this new book, Growth Has No Boundaries. When you help us, we take that and we help other people with it. And with the matching gift, rather than help one person, you're helping 2, maybe more.
Steve,
so, yeah,
we do these Club New Life CDs, and we do teachings on it. We do calls from the program. This month there is a teaching from Henry Cloud, The Psychology of a Crisis. If you want something good, join Club New Life and get that CD.
1-800-New-Life.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, July 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. I've heard that talk by Henry. It's worth joining Club New Life. $30 a month. We send you the transformation packet just to say thank you. I really think you would love being a part of helping us help others. Let's go to May. She's calling from Neely. Is that Nevada or New Mexico?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. I only had an N there, so I was just guessing. But May, let me just mention to everybody, we're going to do another program after this, and the number's 1-800-229-3000. But how can we help you today?
Hi, how are you today?
Doing okay. What's going on in your life?
I have kind of an interesting question for you. I have been married and have been a Christian for 25.
Okay.
Young teenage people, because that is an area in my life where I struggled.
You're cutting out a little bit there, but I'm assuming that you're saying that you are helping teenagers. Is that right?
That is my ministry, yes.
Okay. So what's the question for us?
Okay, the question is, I've been married for 35 years, very happily. My husband is wonderful, but he's not interested in ministering with me, and he is wanting me to be available to travel and do things with him.
Okay, so are you not able to do both?
So my question is, no, not necessarily. And so my question is, do I have a specific loyalty to him? I mean, should I defer to him and kind of let this lie? Or should I tell him I'm doing this?
Well, you're so fortunate to call with Chris Williams here. He is an expert on impossible situations because this is a tough one. You know, here you are doing good things. And then the good news is you have a husband who wants to spend more time with you than less. Yes. So let's see what Chris does to mess this up, and then we'll try to pick up the pieces. Go ahead, Chris.
All right,
what do you think?
Hey, let's get in the muddy waters. But let's first recognize this. The core of the problem is very, very common. Happens in every marriage, and that is when two good people have good competing desires. And that's what you have. Yep. He has a good desire, you have a good desire, but those desires mean something to you. And his desire means something to him. So what I want you to be able to do, May, is sit down with him and have a conversation, affirm the marriage, affirm how grateful you are and how blessed you are to have the marriage that you have. And I want you to be able to tell him what this ministry means to you and what it does for you. And then I want you to ask him about his desire to spend more time with you and what it does for him. And I think by starting there at the heart level, that you guys can then begin to talk about what are some things that we can do. Is there a middle ground here that we can find where we both maybe not get all of what we need, but we get to meet each other somewhere in the middle to work out something that works for both of us?
I see.
And I'm going to give you my 2 cents here, and it is worth about 2 cents. But I do think this, that our marriage must be the priority. And when we see Ephesians 5:21 say, submit yourselves one to another out of reverence for Christ, I really think oftentimes we have to give up some really good things to be mutually submissive. Mm-hmm. Now, you could say, well, he's not submitting to my desire, but you could say this too. He is submitting to oneness in the relationship wanting more time. So I'm wondering if the compromise isn't in some way, let's go travel this much, and then if you can't do this in the current ministry you're in, maybe you can find another one you can. And so we'll come back, and I'm going to minister for a month, and I'm going to be powerful. I'm going to be building that up when we travel. But try to work it out with him where you're able to fit into his plans for the two of you, because it sounds like to me you got some pretty good plans there, okay?
Well, I think it probably calls me to be a little creative, a little more creative
there you
about
go.
how I approach my opportunity to minister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I kind of sense that you're quite spiritually sound here, and I'm really glad you called for our advice, and I hope that's something that's going to be good for you. Let me send you a little copy of How We Love. It's Mylon and Kay's book, and of course that's the book we use for our Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. I've got time for one more quick call. That's Theo from WAVA. Hi, Theo. How are you today?
Yes, I'm doing fine. Good afternoon to all of you.
Yeah.
I had a comment, but then I thought back. I called you guys about a month ago, and it was dealing with I have been married 41 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you recall. And we have grown apart, my wife and I. And my question is this. I was talking, I guess, just divulging some of my personal situation, and they said, well, go back to when you were dating and what have you, and the input or what you were doing then, see if you can build that back
okay.
up.
So you're going to have to go right to that question, because the show is almost over. What is the question we could help you with?
My question is, we did not date. I was in a homeless situation, and before I married her, she said...
Okay, so ask me a question really quick, or we're going to have to hold you over.
She went me her home, and after 2 weeks living in her home, she gave me the master bedroom, and she came and, I would say, violated...
Hold on. Maybe we can... I'm going to do another program right after this, and we're going to start with you, Theo. But sorry I couldn't get... because they have things for me to say at the end of the program. But hold on, and we'll talk to you in the next program. You could join us for that program, 1-800-229-3000. You could watch it live on Facebook. Live. We're always live somewhere. That's why we're New Life Live. Whatever you're going through, and I'm telling you, I'm going through it too. This is not easy on any of us. We're in this limbo place. Hey, whatever you're going through, trust God, connect with other people, believe that it's going to get better, and just know that with the support of friends and growing spiritually, that you're going to be better off in a week, in a month. You can get stronger. And do whatever it takes. I mean, maybe you were a little depressed, and now this has flipped you over into a much deeper depression. Well, think about, what could you do? Exercise, eating differently, hanging out with different people, getting some support. Maybe it's even medication, whatever. But take this time to work on yourself and do whatever you can to come out of it better. That's really what our challenge is. It's taking the reality in front of us, embracing it, and then making the best out of the worst. You know, Ephesians 3:20 is my life verse, and it essentially says, you know, that God is going to do some things. They're so great, you can't even think them up. You can't even imagine them. I'm going to believe that for you, and for me, and for Chris Williams, who I thank today. 1-800-229-3000 to join us on the next program. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to support us or to get some help. Call us.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.